crowd, the listings are always quite high. And that is often because there's not a lot of secondary buy pressure right now in ordinals. Um, the overall audience isn't massive, and really what people are trying to do if you have ordinals is get that chance to mint one uh, and then hold, right? There's not a lot of reason to buy on the secondary market right now, um, with the stories that are being told from ordinal projects, which I think is one thing that separates us quite a bit. We do have a story to tell, and we're being thoughtful with that design, and we're also being thoughtful with pricing. ETH is the crown for sure. That's a good analogy. But like it's really interesting because we've allowed ourselves enough time, I think, to evaluate the ordinals market and get an understanding of where we need to be. Right now, it's just about making sure that when we allocate externally, that we pick the right users, people who really value ordinals, who will, uh, you know, quote unquote, have be diamond handed to a certain extent, um, to allow for a thin floor and for greater opportunity of the secondary market to look strong, whether that's through buy pressure or prevented listing pressure. Um, I think we're in a good place. I'm really, I'm still learning with you. Uh, Saint is doing a lot of the Ronin stuff on his own there, getting in these early days, getting this thing set up, and I'm learning every week with you all. And I think next week is where it's starting to get really unleashed. So super excited about that. And then I can't sit here with you and not talk about Reapers. What a week it's been in Reapers. I think I've seen most of you in there uh, enjoying yourselves in the debate structure, enjoying yourselves in the comms portal, just chatting all things Reapers and decision makings on voting, and it is so refreshing, when we can have such active users enjoying. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate the voice change. Um, I actually have never heard what it sounds like. I just kind of like plugged myself into this voice and kind of went with it. And I was so nervous on the first one, if I'm honest with you. I wasn't sure if it was going to land, but I am excited that you all are enjoying it. I'm very much enjoying it. Uh, it is kind of bringing out a creative side in me and releasing kind of that inner child in me, I guess I could say, to just have fun with this. Web3 right now is so depressing. Um, it is so hard to come uh, uh, and look on crypto Twitter every single day and just see negative thing after negative thing after negative thing. That's different to your normal stoned voice. I'm definitely not stoned. I actually don't. Um, I do not engage in that drug use at this stage of my life. So this is just me. I do drink a little bit, but honestly, I'm pretty straight and narrow right now. Got a couple of kids, and I don't bounce back. Yeah, you sound like me after work. I don't bounce back like I used to after a night of drinking either, so I stay away from that as a little more than I used to. Um, that being said, I am having a bit of bourbon with you all now, just to enjoy the week that's been. It's actually one of my favorite times of the week is to grab a drink with you all and chill and just reflect. And yeah, Reapers is probably I think so much more to deliver on, but I don't think I've ever been more excited about my own personal role and engagement with the project that than Reapers has been so far. Um, it's different. It's just something that I've been in the space for, God, I don't even remember how long anymore. Um, but I've never seen anything like this, and that's cool to say. Um, like I haven't checked the voting turnout here since or my earlier debate. Let me just I think it was around 80% last I checked. Let me see what it's at now. Probably still right around there. There's 832 out of 1,059 votes casted. Let's do a little bit of quick math there. 832 divided by 109 is 78%. So we're 78. Rounding gets us to 79. I think the first vote, which was for the Sergeant of Arms, was at 82. The second vote, or the very first GB-001 vote was at 83, and right now we're at 79. So um, we definitely are having a good level of consistency there, especially keeping in mind that some senators can miss one vote. So some of those who voted for the first one potentially might be missing
Proud.
this one for some sort of reason. So I'm very happy with that. Um, check the auction winners, bro. Is that for incoming senators? I do have to check
It's
that.
music to the
Alex has sent me a confidential DM. That sounds a bit concerning. What am I supposed to be looking at in the auction winners? Oh, are you telling me to like vet the auction winners to make sure like they're legit? Is that what you're saying? I'm just gonna check out. He's intrigued me. Oh, no and no there, Alex, unfortunately, mate. It's just not we have so many things going on right now. It's not the top priority, but I appreciate you still checking in. You won an auction. Forza dude won an auction. What did you win? Sorry, let me get back to it. I didn't know you were referring to yourself. You won Oath. Oh my gosh. I thought you had Oath. You didn't have Oath. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. You've been around for so long. I honestly just thought you had Oath already. That's awesome. It's great to see people like you winning those opportunities and having your hard work pay off. It's one of the things of beauty within this structure and design to uh, reward those people who are spending a lot of time, but also we've created some opportunities for people who are fairly new to have a shot at some really crazy value. And that really feeds into the degen side of things, which is really cool. And also, I think one thing I wanted to touch on a little bit with those auctions is like some people are concerned that uh, people who haven't spent as much time with us are winning these things, uh, or potential alts are. Just know that we are targeting the alts, and I don't want to discuss too much on that. Saint did touch on that quite a bit in the chat the other day. But just know that it's super important to provide opportunity for newcomers. I'm very passionate about that. My concern as someone who's on the community facing side of things is to having, we had a period of time where there was a lot of people coming in who felt as though there was no opportunity for them here. And I think we're solving that with some of our Discord bot functionality and our Oath, and I will say Oath and Reapers for sure is there's not much opportunity there for newcomers. And Oath is definitely towards the back end of that if there's even a chance really. It's going to be difficult, but there is some shots at Oath with fair raffles, which is really cool. Um, and Ronin is going to be a low supply. And uh, one thing that I'm reflecting on uh, as we move forward with delivery on these three projects is, we already have so much ammo waiting to get started, and we need to deliver on those. but then also have a strong opportunity of uh, for newcomers into the space. And that's where the enlightened role will have a play in the oath structure. Reapers is going to have multiple mints as well. So there's the Genesis asset first, and then two subsequent assets following of the pets and the ships. So you know, w- while most of the newcomers aren't going to have that opportunity at the Genesis asset, which I'm okay with because I think it should go to those who have stuck with us, um, and have been through this hellish bear. Um, it is exciting to know that there's going to be opportunity for them to join the ecosystem and enjoy it in the fun and tag along on the ride. And I know that we can deliver on something special, specifically after we've seen what Reapers has done. Excuse me, I am. Can someone tell me if you can? This is very unprofessional, but I haven't ate anything in so long. Can you hear me chew? Damn it. All right. All good. It's super crunchy too, so I got a bunch of spring roll sitting next to me, but that's okay. Um, will not eat while talking to you. Okay. Testing, testing. So the other thing I wanted to, yeah, click of a button. Austin Moss is being nice. Um, I'll have to look at that suppression stuff later. I don't really want to play with that right now. Next thing I know, I'll disconnect my mic and then just ruin everything. Um, sorry, I just got a message from my dad. He must have just woke up. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of exciting things. This week really kind of blew by. It was a fast week. It felt like there was so much things there's some things happening behind the scenes within partnership opportunities. I'm not sure if I shared this with people. Last week in my drink session, we do have an opportunity for some spots. I'm not sure exactly on the total amount of allocation here at this point and where it's going to be going, but we're in discussion with a project that is kind of a launch pad for not a launch pad, a marketing support structure for an advisor for tier one projects that meet our standards. Uh, it only some breaks of mirror. What are you saying, unicorn? I'm confused by that. Um, and we're looking to what we're going to do there is support them for the needs that see fit for each project that they onboard through their specific support structure. And in return, we get allocation for our community and potentially some other opportunities for the business. And here's the first example of the first project that we're talking about right now together. Um, oh, I was rugging, was I? Okay. Can you hear me okay now? Okay, cool. So, without naming names, this company focuses on low supply, free mint, VC backed. They're not as focused on active founders we are, but they are really focused on a professional team, and the they're not as focused on Genesis assets as we are. But uh, I with the low supply, typically what you get is a Genesis type of asset. So Galaxis is going to be 500 and it's around 550 supply. Um, and we're landing on final numbers for allocation and how that's going to be distributed. So I don't want to make any too many crazy promises here, but um, what's kind of happened with Galaxis specifically is we kind of jumped in a bit late in the game, um, as far as distribution goes. So we're we're trying to put something together to kind of kick off this relationship with the team that's really supporting them and advising them. And then once that's in place, we're going to continue to get opportunities to discuss these projects at a much earlier stage, which will allow us to make sure that both sides of the party wins and the project itself is as successful as possible. So um, check out Galaxis, everyone. Um, no, not 100% sure on how accessible that's going to be in the Village marketplace, and I do know that they plan on launching in the next 3 weeks, pending any other decisions that they have to make. And the reason why I wanted to share that with you is because that's the type of caliber of project that we're going to be getting through this specific partnership moving forward. Um, that reminds me, let me send a quick message to follow up with another crew. Yeah, so I think like there's a strong opportunity there for us. It's one thing that's my responsibility as part of Tribe is to continue to try and bring the best top tier allocation. It has been fucking hard in this bear market to continuously provide opportunity. Um, overworld. Um, I think we've done okay. Actually, let me rephrase. I think we've done quite good, quite well. We haven't put anyone at risk. We've played it safe, which I think is always smart, and then at times like these. Um, but my focus is really getting two projects minimum every month that are really strong wins on the ETH side. And now that we're really plugging ourselves into ordinals, I'd like to see that number really rise as well. Mm. I'm starting to see some leverage in conversations with ordinal projects, willingness to, give allocation without expecting it in return. For example, uh, opportunities to give us white list spots just to get in, um, um, to get into a spaces with Saint. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Awesome. I'm trying, that's for sure. I got diamonds and soul opportunity at some free mints this past week. In uh, what was that one? Game Plan and Alico Tribe. Not sure how they're both going to do, but they're both risk-free VC funded opportunities. So those are like the DYOR stuff that has no risk, and I love being able to give that optionality out. And whether if that's just a point oh 0.04 win to a point 0.1 win, in this market, any bit of ETH you can get is so strong. So uh, I that's what I'm going to keep delivering on, and I do know for a fact that I can say that diamonds will be getting access to Galaxis. Um, we're just trying to finalize some numbers on the guaranteed versus first come first serve stuff, and we always push for guaranteed here, but like I mentioned, we're getting in a bit late, so we need to be a bit flexible on this one. But moving forward, we shouldn't have to be. Yeah. So partnership stuff has gone. I had a good partnership week this week. I feel like I got us into a couple pipelines on both ordinals and Ethereum for steady flow of projects to be thrown at us. So that's cool. Um, One little fun tidbit that I'll share with you all is uh, I can't leak any yet. Galaxis is the main one. The other projects coming from the ETH side, we've been told that we can't share any of that right now. And the ordinal stuff, I'm still finalizing stuff. I'm actually having conversations with Luminex, which is like for those of you who don't know, like a launch pad for projects on ordinal side of things. So uh, they get an insane amount of applications to launch ordinal projects on their platform. We're having conversations to uh, what can I say without change? We're gonna get access to see what those plays are and how we can support them in return for opportunities of allocation. So, still some specifics that need to be sorted out there. Their team is a bit slow on the comm side of things too. So, um, uh, just waiting to see where we're aligned. We feel that we true and loyal role. I still don't have it. True and loyal role was, I believe that was for. Let me just check. We've had so many. True and loyal. That was for when we opened up a wallet submission opportunity for like a certain amount of time, and any Enlighten members could submit their wallets and get that role. That was when we were still. That was so long ago when we were still, anticipating our minting uh, our heroes mint. So that was ages ago, um, and really that role doesn't mean anything at this point. So don't stress about that. Uh, yeah. So, yeah, and partnership. Oh, yeah. The other fun thing that I was able to get linked in with this past week is I am speaking one on one to the creator of Ordinal Punks. Now, what that means, I don't know yet. Um, but for those of you who don't know, Ordinal Punks is the highest, I believe, the highest valued ordinal collection out there at this point. I could be mistaken, but they're like the OGs, um, way early inscription, the one that everybody wants and no one can get right now. And just got connected in a DM with him to discuss anything, really. My focus with the conversation like that is just to kind of learn about their connections in the space and how we could potentially, support what it is that they're building and vice versa, and really learn as well. Learn about what those early days were like. Learn about why that creator chose ordinals and what their game plan was from a project perspective and building and planning, and I think it would just make for a really intriguing conversation, and then you just never know what comes from that, right? So it's what whilst that might not lead to anything crazy, it's just exciting, right? Like how cool is that for me to have that opportunity through, and the way I was able to get access to that is just through our most recent outreach through the ordinal side of things, taking account of what we're doing, seeing the value, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm also in touch with about eight, 8 to 10 other founders of projects under 10K inscription. They kind of have like this little crew of they call themselves, I think, the under 10K club or something like that, where all the early inscription collections they're chatting with one another. They were all early adopters who knew each other, probably even before going live with collections. So, um, and yeah, so it'll be really cool to see like what conversations come from that. I think the people within those communities and ecosystems are a little bit, they're very open minded to ordinals. I think, to be honest with you, I think they're the key to secondary buy pressure. They're really the ones that would be accumulating multiple ordinal assets. Yeah. Do the sub 100K and sub 1 million have it as well? Yeah, these are all sub 10K, which is like insane. That I'm talking to like I think it's 9 founders of sub 10K ordinal collections. Um, but back to what I was saying, I think that we're seeing a lot of like lack of secondary buy pressure, and um, on the ordinal side, and I think what's happening is a lot of these new projects um, aren't tapping into these communities, these early adopters into ordinals, the the ones who kind of blazed the trail. And the reason why I know this isn't happening is because if you actually go to each of these projects, their Twitter engagement is low, their Twitter following is low. They're not caught up in all of that. What they are is they're like a tight-knit group who, support one another, who believe in what ordinals is and the importance of inscription, early inscription in history and rarity. They'll see value, I'm sure, in the different Satoshis being inscribed. And I don't think that I don't think that these new up and coming projects are taking the time to get to know these groups. And I think as well they could be a real competitive advantage for us if we are able to uh, you know, get to know these communities, spend time with them, and show them what we're doing with Ronin and see what they think. And I think they'll like what they see. And if they do, perhaps that can help increase the value of what it is we're trying to build on that side of the business. So
It's music.
really cool stuff on that front. Been really, really busy behind the scenes with that and then Reapers, of course. That is so crazy. I've been waiting for the Ordinals Punk creator to get back to me this whole day, and the second I start talking about him in here, he has messaged me back. I'm gonna take my time. I'm not even gonna read that, so I make sure the ping stays there. Take my time with that conversation. So really cool stuff on that front. Details on getting whitelist for Ronin. So whitelist spots. We are going to provide opportunities. So diamonds are obviously going to get some amazing access to Ronin, tribe diamond holders, but there is going to be opportunities for community members to have a chance at the Ronin whitelist spots, whether that's through the village marketplace or another system of allocation. Um, we're still we're still narrowing down on exactly the supply itself and then how much can be distributed within our community versus external communities. So I can't give you any definitives there. All I can say is that there will be a chance for community members in our ecosystem to get a spot to this. Um, so that's exciting. Like really, really cool that we can provide that to you all. Um, I think one thing that we are going to do better than probably most of the other ordinal projects is onboard a significant amount of ETH users to the BTC ordinal side of things too. So that's really cool. Catch unicorn. Like I said, I can't share specifics because I really don't have them at the time. So I'm not sure if we'll do fair raffles on them. I'm not sure if we have enough allocation to do that. So just um, stay tuned. That's all I can really say there. Um, yeah. So what's I think that's outside of that, that's really the updates for this week for me. My reflection is like our community kicks ass. Our community both in here and then in the Reapers Discord and in Spaces, the engagement we're getting is still blowing my fucking mind every day. Um, there's a lot of people like asking me like how we're doing it in other channels, and I tell them like we're fucking insane, like we're just crazy. Like we're just a couple of like Saint is absolutely like so active and so accessible, and I think that's probably the biggest key is his accessibility, his honesty, his willingness to say how it is, but also like deliver on things and be strong on his ability to pivot and be creative. But the other thing is we're just like like we're fucking nuts, right? Like we're going through the barest of bears, and we're showing up every single day and working our ass off. I I don't tweet very much, and I shouldn't. It's not my strong suit. Uh, um, but I was just laying in bed one night after a couple of meetings. It was like 2 in the morning. I had to get up at like 4:30 for another meeting, and I was just laying in bed. I'm like, I am fucking insane, right? Like, what am I doing? Like, and I actually tweeted out like something along the lines of like, this is like in the bottom of the bear. I've never worked harder. Uh, and I can't wait to see what the fruits of the labor will be on the backside of this. And that's a huge thing that's keeping me going. But the other thing that's keeping me going and showing up every day is like Saint is awesome to work with. Um, Everyone who's supporting me behind the scenes, from the partnership side to the Twitter Spaces and Discord event summary side that we're about to come out with, through collaborations, people reaching out to me that I haven't, no necessity for them to do that, just to be helpful, showing me different projects for us to reach out to, and like what I have in my hands, right, is an opportunity, to me, a once in a lifetime opportunity. Um, that's all you need, right, is an active funder who never sleeps. I have a once in a lifetime opportunity here, to take whatever life I have left and do something completely unique, something completely special, and something that I'm gonna look back on, whether we're successful or not, and be super proud of what I was able to try and achieve or actually achieve, right? And I have so much of that to thank you guys for, you all for. I shouldn't say guys. I know there's some females in here. That's just my way of speaking. Um, yeah, I actually, Thor, the new OS update. Let me comment on that after this. The community here is the other thing that keeps me driving, besides my own personal drive. Is like, if you all can show up every single day, right? All I need to too, right? Like, I need to deliver for all of you, to show that your time has been valued, to show that your support is appreciated. And if I wasn't doing that, what a disservice that is to you. Now, I think we can agree, and I know I was going to stay off the negative path here, but I think we can agree that other teams don't think like that. It is clear to me, projects like Azuki putting out whatever that garbage was, for an excuse of a new collection, and I don't value being friendly about this, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, let's give Azuki a break and just see what it is they're trying to build." It's like, okay, yeah, we can do that, but also be real about what's happening in front of us here. Like, you can't like, you can what's you can polish a turd, but it's still a turd, right? Like, what why and in a space that has no barriers to entry, like we were discussing, anyone can start a project, right? If we should be really, really diligent and really critical of anything, it should be now on this, right? On NFT projects. Like, we should be holding people to significant standards. And that's how this space continues to grow and continues to prosper and get better. It's not from letting a project put half-ass art out there with no plan and extract ETH and let it burn. Like, don't don't listen to the people who are like these. Like, I like to think that I have empathy, and I think that I'm a pretty emotionally intelligent person. Uh, but that doesn't mean that we just have to throw flowers at everyone and cut everyone. Like, this isn't a participation trophy situation here. Like, this isn't like, "Oh, well, they tried, so, like, let's just, like it's okay." No, fuck that. What they did is just like, ruined the market for everyone else. And then Ether did it, and now CyberCoins is doing it. So, how long do we just wait before we just be like, "Look, these are the standards we need to see. These are what needs to be done from a project standpoint for you to earn our attention and be deserving of whatever ETH you're going to ask of us." It's like, this is goes back to my point way early. We needed this. What has come to light to me is this is the time of ETH NFT land that we needed. We needed to the capabilities of these teams are coming to light, and we are realizing that they are not capable. So what that means is that that news was going to come out at some point in time. We're experiencing that news now, and now a new standard needs to be set with no, you know, very little room for forgiveness. I do think that we need to have room for people to make mistakes, but there's a difference between a team making a mistake and a team being lazy. These teams are being lazy. Laziness is not acceptable. Making mistakes is acceptable. Like, we've made a fucking ton of mistakes. We were gonna launch a fucking what was it? Fucking 5K collection, promising a game at the time of launch. Like, look where we are now. We're like fucking almost 12 months later, working towards Ordinal's play of low supply and two low supply Genesis asset ETH plays. Because we're paying attention, because we're not being lazy. We've made mistakes along the way, and you all have forgiven us. Like, honestly, in a way, you guys have forgiven us, right? Like, we have told you one thing, we realized that it was not the right thing, it was a mistake, but we are able to continue to pivot successfully with you all because you can see that we are not lazy. You can see that we're doing it with the best intentions, and we're doing it with very specific reasoning in mind, and we're very what's the word? Uh, Excuse me, it's been a long day. We're being very transparent about it. So that's all we're asking. Passionate is also another one. That's all we're asking of these projects. Don't be lazy. Take the time to see what's happening within the market. What's up, GM, 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 GM? Don't don't put out terrible art. Don't put out stuff with no utility attached to it whatsoever. Don't put out anything that dilutes your project and your ecosystem and your community. Just do things right. And if you don't do it right, tell us where you went wrong and show us that you can make a decision quickly and pivot in a good direction. We're not going to all get it right here. That we're traveling down a path of unknown, right? We're doing everything that we can to think we're making the best decision possible with the information provided. The issue is these other teams aren't taking in all that information. Cash keeps talking about Skyborn Legacy. Uh, I stopped paying attention to that because um, we it just there was the comms was terrible. I don't have time to waste on people who don't respond. But yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts there. I said I wouldn't be talking too much on the negative side of things, but I think this bourbon's kind of getting to me, and then the starting to bring out some of that frustration. Yeah, antisocial. I have no idea, honestly. We let them go. I think I don't think Saint is really supporting that vision anymore. I actually forgot about him, to be honest. Celeros? Yeah, I've been talking. Funny story. I went into Celeros and they're a project that's up and coming. Where did my ticket go? Did they close my fucking ticket again? Unbelievable. Anyways, I started a ticket with them saying like, "Hey, want to partner with you all. Uh, are you guys open to a discussion and just kind of seeing where these opportunities might lie? Here we are, tribe." I couldn't share any links or anything because I would get like the message would get auto deleted. So I had to be very descriptive about what it is. Long story short, all they responded back was, "We don't need that," and then close the ticket. Particle Inc. I'm just getting into Game Plan. I like Game Plan's metrics. I don't like how they're marketing. But we do have allocation to Game Plan. We gave it out to diamonds and soul token holders. Wasn't much, to be honest, but it was something. Actually, was the greatest amount of allocation they gave to anyone, so I shouldn't say that. But to us, it wasn't much. I think it's only like a 700 supply. So, yeah, I mean, there's they're a metaverse platform that's focusing on sports. I think artificial intelligence is there. I'm pretty sure that there's VC funding there as well. I don't know the exact amount. It's good. Like it's a good play. It's not anything that's going to blow me away because I don't like metaverse plays because I don't think anyone wants to hear that anymore. But I think it's good allocation to get just to see Khabib's got their back. To me, that is bearish. Like no one wants to hear about a celebrity anymore in this space. Like just get out of my face with that. Don't use that. Uh, if he's got your back, like, do something other than, like, including it in your text marketing, like, have him do something cool, video-wise or audio on a podcast or something, like, don't just, like, include that in your white paper, it's, like, just gross. Um, so, but besides that, I mean, I think, they hit all of our metrics, besides, active founder, I think, so, can't hate it, right? But I would be looking to flip as soon as I was happy with whatever profit comes from that. Um, Particle Inc. is one I'm just getting into. Why is everyone quoting random stuff? Excuse me. Um, what else were we talking about? Benny Corbin asking me about execute. Can you send a like when you send these? Can you send a link just to kind of just to kind of refresh my memory because I talked to so many projects. Anyways, what's everyone up to this weekend? What's the plans for everyone? Just gonna put myself on mute while I smash a spring roll and read text quick. Happy birthday, Dread and Junka. My wife is going to see the Barbie movie with her girlfriends tomorrow. We're gonna go see Disney on Ice tomorrow. I did not know that the Women World Cup was in Melbourne this year. That's crazy. Westy, where are you going on holiday? Explore the Netherlands. That sounds like a mindfulness title. Why does that look so familiar? Oh, because I've DM'd them. Uh, Everyone's making people get verified to send DMs now. So my whole DM stream is now gone with them. That is such shit. I'm gonna have to verify, hey? What a tricky little way Elon Musk is getting some money out of people. I haven't dove in too much on Operation Execute. I don't really dive in until I see some response from the team, to be honest. I gotta be really focused with my time. Sri Lanka for 19 days. Now that is somewhere where I never was like, I should visit Sri Lanka. So tell me more. I am not a very geographically gifted person either. So what's all in Sri Lanka? Tell me all about it. Actually, I'm genuinely curious. Mikavella is doing housework, meal prep, and exciting mom. That is exciting mom stuff. Make sure you do something for yourself too. Fuck all that mom stuff. Do something for yourself as a mom. You need to take care of yourself as well. We got Aloe for execute back in the day. Did we really? See, this is where like everything is just blending together for me. How many so have has their Genesis asset minted? Yeah, Macvella, I feel that. I feel that as well. Jesus. Well, is it doing okay? I'm genuinely anyone got the Genesis asset collection? Oh, someone not talked about the deals thing on OpenSea. That's cool. I don't see anything that wrong with it. I think is it the execute social pass? Because if it's that, it's at point 0.1 ETH and it should just jump off a bridge if they're trying to do another collection. Please don't tell me that's it. Oh, Jesus. Just pass on anything that they're coming out with, and unless there's like insane utility or whatever. Hey, Enrio, has everything turned out okay about what you DM'd me about earlier today? Yeah, NFT Trade did something like that. I think that sucks, dude. Enrio, I'm sorry. I think trading NFTs is cool. I think it leaves so many people susceptible to scams, but like for me, I would only trade with people I really know, like I've gotten to know quite well. So I think it's kind of cool. Because I'd use it and be smart about it. Um, overall, I'm not sure if it's very feasible and safe. I haven't really dove into exactly what OpenSea is doing there, but I think the idea of trading anything is cool. Like, I think it's part of a marketplace that needs to be alive and well. Uh, perfect example. I'm going to pull a Sash here, but like when Pokemon cards was going crazy, one of the coolest things about it was like trading it with your friends, right? Like if you had like a 40 fucking Alakazam holographics, you could use that as ammo to trade for things that you don't have, right? So I think like trading a digital asset, it almost feels like it inherently needs to be something that works and works well because the ease of trade is so strong. And the one thing you don't have to worry about is the condition of the asset, right? So to me, it feels like someone's got to figure this thing out. If you do, I think it adds a lot of value to the space. I haven't looked into the specifics on how it works on OpenSea, but I personally would enjoy it and will check it out when I have some free time because I do not give relics out for these Friday with Mirror events. I did a couple of times, but that was just when I was probably drunk and feeling frisky. And honestly, after I do it, I don't like I have to manually assign every single thing. We are gonna fix that though. The Reaper's bot, I can use a Reaper's bot, our Reaper's bot to I'm not. No, I've only had 1.5 drinks at the point, Guru. So I'm just chilling. Um, but we will be bringing that bot into this server so that I will be able to assign roles to people attending my chats. No, I actually tomorrow morning I have my daughter. She's going, so she had a basketball. I'm a huge basketball fan. Played basketball most of my life until I was a young adult, uh, and she's into it. My daughter's into it, and her training starts back up tomorrow morning. So gotta get up and bright and early for that. $20 for one night? Are you kidding me? That's crazy. I gotta go to Sri Lanka. That's awesome. Well, I'm jealous, man. That's awesome. You take your time and enjoy yourself out there. I am not over 6 foot. I'm 5 foot, not 5'10". Uh, Practically, I'll say 5'9" and 5'6", just to be real. But I played basketball ever since I was 3, and actually played quite competitively, and actually had an opportunity to try out to be a walk on for a Division I college basketball school. Did not end up getting the spot, which was probably the hardest day of my life, which shows how privileged I am. But I was everything I ever wanted, and but I did end up getting to be on the practice squad with them. I said I'm 5'9" and 5'6", but I did get to be on the practice squad for the team for I think it was almost 2.5, 3 years, uh, and got to run scout for all of the teams that they were facing. Ran their offense so that they knew how to defend them going into each game. I got and I got all the perks too. I got free shoes every season. I got like so much free merch. I got to uh, pick all of my classes before everyone else so that I had the best like schedule for like sleeping in and no Friday classes. I am a shooter. I I I am a scoring point guard is really what I am. So I can shoot. I can without sounding arrogant, I am quite good at basketball, but I do have a torn ACL now, so I haven't played in the last year or so. I'm one of those guys where you would not expect me to be good, uh, but then I destroy you, and I'm like the most competitive person ever. So my height definitely held me back, though, which sucks, but it is what it is. Ouchie. And Junka, I imagine you don't, right? Basketball is my favorite sport, uh, and it's not even close, really. Um, yeah, the ACL was not friendly. I was I as I like talking about injuries, so I've had 2 serious injuries playing basketball, actually. When I was, 15, I was a freshman in high school, and I was, playing on the varsity team, and I was really excited, right, because I was the only freshman that was starting on the varsity team and was really excited about everything in the basketball future. It's when I was still in the thick of, like, all of my dreams of going to the NBA and everything, like, I had it all, like, I was delusional, but that's just how my brain works. And I was playing in a gym that there was no air conditioning. It was the middle of summer, and what ended up happening was the floors were getting quite damp with humidity, and they had fans, like huge factory fans, blowing on the floors. And they're like, "Oh yeah, everything's fine." And then I was dribbling, just living my life, living my best basketball life, and I slipped on one of the wet spots on the floor. I braced my fall with my right arm. I ended up snapping both my forearm bones in half. One of the bones was protruding from my skin, and the other one was not, but both completely snapped. and that was the most painful thing I had ever experienced. And then last 2 years, I was almost like a year and a half ago now. I was playing, and my knee hyperextended um, inwards, and yeah, my ACL's torn. What else? MCL's torn. Meniscus is still intact, according to my last scan, and there was a ton of like tiny fractures around the knee, so that sucked. But besides those two injuries, I never once rolled an ankle. I never once hurt anything else. You know, people always like hurt their ankles, break a finger. I never had a single other injury besides these two massive ones, which suck. Eisen coming in with some partnership stuff. He's a legend. Yeah. So anyone else has some crazy injuries? I like talking about injuries. That's fun. If there's one person you love to meet in real life in this chat or the entire Lost Realms community, who would it be? There's well, Saint probably. Uh, but if we don't include him, you really put me on the spot, right? Because there's so many people that I'd love to meet. Um, I have not met Saint. No, we live on the opposite sides of the world from one another. Oh, broken wrist and torn Achilles. That sucks. Oh, Achilles, I heard is bad. What was that like? What was the torn Achilles like? No, you do not, dude. Actually, the one person I probably would like to meet is probably Injunka. And I also would like to meet Wades. But Injunka is an interesting fella. And I've talked to him for quite some time. We've been chatting for a long time. And now he's in Australia, so I'm not gonna let him not meet me. Snapped your clavicle, knocking you out for 2 minutes. Ouch. That sucks. Oh, how did you get hurt so often? Was it playing sports? Oh my gosh, dude, Arloff, that's crazy. What happened? Did you like fall down some stairs? Oh, was it not painful then? Arm broken on a public holiday. So you broke your arm on Christmas? What? I'm confused. That's crazy. There was one time I was playing basketball, and I went up for a layup, and some dickhead, fucking way out of control, tried blocking my shot. Hits me, hits me so hard in the upper area where I become like horizontal to the floor, but I'm like 6 feet above the floor, and I land chin first, right on the ground. This is the championship game of a. I think I was like 20 years old. I was playing in a competitive league in the summertime, and I smacked my chin first, right? And it didn't hurt that much at first, so I thought everything was okay. And then my one of my teammates came to me and looked at my chin, and he became extremely woozy because my chin was completely cut open, and actually had been like very, very wide cut because it was right where my chin was. And every time I would talk, the cut would open wider. Uh, and that was like right around it was just after halftime. I asked for them to tape it up. I ended up taping gauze to my entire face going back in, and I went back in the game, and we ended up winning the game. And then I ended up getting stitches I think I had 11 stitches across my chin after that. It was fucking crazy. But I was like, that's how that just gives you some insight into, like, how competitive I am. It's really unhealthy. It's really unhealthy. It's probably best I'm not playing anymore, being I'm 35 now, and why is yeah, that's what my chin looked like, that's it, for real. Uh, why you were you really in prison? Because now you're starting to, like if you're, and Rio broke his arm falling off of a fence. There's is this real? Um, no, that's not a game, that is Stranger Things, and if you haven't seen it, that makes me really sad for you. Oh, sorry, you said that earlier. Prison mate turned to a workspace, that's right. That would've been so cool if I would've just found out that you went to prison, I would've had so many questions. The only other big injury that I had that I can think of right now was when I was younger. Me and my brother had bunk beds, and I slept on the top bunk because 'cause I'm older and cooler, and, there was a railing on it, but for some reason that didn't stop me from falling off the top bunk when I was asleep, and I hit my head on the corner of a TV stand and, needed, um, 8 staples to put that back together. A Demogorgon. God, the fact that you know what the name is awesome. Actually, Westy, the more that you say it, I have had a few things happen that are quite crazy outside, and then outside of that, I was in a coma just a few years ago, so that was more of a sickness than an injury. Being in a coma was so weird. Like, 5 days it was, Westy. I I woke up one morning and my life was fucking insane. Like, I I can go through it, but I don't know if I wanna, do that again with you all. I know a lot of you have heard that story already, but I ended up getting intubated, sorry, not incubated, intubated, and, I knew so when before I was intubated, it was my wife's birthday coming up, like 3 days, right? And so I was intubated, was in a coma for 5 days, and I woke up, and I was like, "Are we still gonna be able to celebrate your birthday?" Because we had plans, right? We had, like, a hotel booked and dinner booked, and I was really looking forward to it. And she goes, my birthday's today." So her birthday was 5 days from when I was intubated, and I was like, "What? Your birthday is today?" Like, I was like, "Well," I said, "Can we still go?" Because 'Cause I'm so drugged up still, right? I was like, "Can we still go?" And then the nurse goes, "No one has ever, came out of a coma and then went, to celebrate somewhere for dinner later on that night." I'm like I was like, "What's go" I was like it's like they kept telling me over and over again, like, "Don't worry, everything's okay. You're in the ICU, everything's fine." But I wasn't even listening to that. I was just, like, so confused on what day it was. It was the craziest thing. It was so foggy, and then I woke up, and then there was one point where I was really freaked out what was going on. That part's probably TMI. I won't share that. But just know I was pulling on cords that I should not have been pulling on because I kind of, like, had a freak out moment, and there was cords connected everywhere into me, so whatever. Take that for what you wish, but it was not good. It was insane, like, it was really weird, though. It was really weird, though, because I did wake up and You know how, like, they say, like, you can hear things, like, people in comas can hear things or whatever? I actually, um, did remember one thing that happened while I was in a coma, where I must have woken up for a period of time because my stepdad, uh, came to visit me with my wife, and I they were talking. I can remember it like it was yesterday. He was at the foot of my bed looking at me while the doctors were talking to my wife, and I looked at him, and then he looked at me, and then that was the last thing I remember until I woke back up again. But I remember him being there and, just that little, like, 30 seconds, and then I woke back up again. I think it was, like, a couple days after that. Honestly, the coma wasn't even the scariest part. It was everything before and everything after, really. Yeah, he was there. He told the doctor he saw me open my eyes, um, and they said that does occur at times. That's funny in Jinka. Like, I was experiencing something like, I had a autoimmune encephalitis, so I woke up I woke up alright, I'll tell the story just because it's actually therapeutic for me to tell it and you guys seem interested. So I woke up and I woke up to go to the bathroom. But when I stood up, my balance was all very off. I couldn't walk. I couldn't feel the right side of my body. But I was, like, so in a fog, that I didn't realize that I couldn't feel that side of my body, so I walked to the bathroom leaning up against the wall so that I wouldn't fall over. I ended up getting to the bathroom, and I started yelling out my brother's name. I've got 2 brothers, but, one of my brother's name is Craig, and I started saying, "Craig, like, Craig, come help me," right? Like, "Craig, something's not right." But Craig wasn't there, right? It was me and my wife in our room, and my daughter was in another room. And then so my wife woke up and she goes, like, she was out of it because it was the middle of the night. Actually, no, it was the morning, just early morning. And she's like, "What's wrong? Like, what's going on?" And I was like, "Craig, something's not right." And I kept calling her Craig over and over and over again. And she started freaking out, obviously. She's like, "What's going on? Like, why are you acting so weird?" And then I was like, and then she looked, I think she could tell that part of my face wasn't responding like normal, right? And I couldn't feel the entire right side of my body. And I was like laying, kind of sitting on the ground at that point, so I wouldn't fall over. And then she called the nurses, and then uh, the numbness just kept getting worse and worse. And then all of a sudden, the numbness was gone, and then I was fine again. No, I later found out that um, I was having a seizure. It's a type of seizure that you have where numbness does occur in the body, and I was having a seizure because, well, okay, there's more to it. So I get into the ambulance. I can talk up to this point, right? I get into the ambulance, and my numbness is getting worse, and then I start to feel the numbness in my face, and then I can't talk. No words can come out of my mouth. No matter how hard in my brain, I knew everything I wanted to say, but I could not I literally couldn't say a word. Nothing would come out of my mouth. Um, actually, when the ambulance driver was asking me questions when I first got in, he was asking me, simple things like, "What's my name? How old am I?" And I just sat there and stared at him. Um, but in my head, I was saying what the answers were. And then there was times that I was told later on that I was giving answers that made absolutely no sense, similarly to like how I was saying Craig instead of my wife's name. Um, but then, so we get into the ambulance. I lose my ability to talk. My entire right side of my body's numb, and then um, they rush me into the back, and by the time I get into the bed in the back, the feeling my right side of my the numbness is gone, my ability to talk comes back, and, then I